Let's talk about different types of schedules of reinforcement. Firstly, we have a continuous type of reinforcement schedule where we're talking about skill acquisition tasks, where you have a student that's being reinforced for every single correct response. Now, why we do this is because we want to make it really clear what's expected of them. And it's a very high frequency of reinforcement, and this is usually at the early stage of training. It makes it really easy to build contingencies. It's also a must for eradicating serious behaviors because the consequence is so apparent and so immediate. So it's very clear when you've done correct, boom, reinforcement happens every single time. And then intermittent, and it's really mostly for maintenance and generalization, where when the correct response is being reinforced at irregular intervals. Um, it is for kids who are more likely that they're at a later stage in training. They've had training for quite some time, so it's less contingent, and they probably have more independence than the early learners. So therefore, we're not reinforcing for every single thing that they've done correct. We may skip a few trials. We may wait a little bit before we fully reinforce them. And then delayed reinforcement will be, for example, using a token system. A student will now at this point have to earn tokens per trial, but then to actually earn the reinforcement in hand, they have to complete the entire token board. Once again, although it's high frequency, it's less intensive as the reinforcement is delayed. It's suitable for teaching kids that are, with established behaviors and with longer teaching objectives. Um, imagine if you have to imagine if you have to write an essay and you're supposed to write 5 paragraphs. You wouldn't reinforce the student for every word they wrote, right? That's almost impossible. But if you were to break it down, maybe for every paragraph they completed, you would get a token for it. So using token economy is really about having frequent reinforcement, but for tasks that are more complex and that are longer than, let's say, early learners would engage in. And now let's take a look at some videos of different types of reinforcement schedules.
Match. Nice matching. For you. Get back. Thank you. Match. You did it. Well done. For you. My turn. Get back. Good girl. Banana. Yes, this is the banana. Well done. For you. All right, get back. Good girl. Give me apple. Perfect. It's an apple. Super. For you. Match. Yes, that's the same. Good job. Match. Yes, that's the same. Well done. For you. My turn. Get back. Good girl. Give me banana. Yes, this is the banana. Well done. Give me apple. Perfect. This is the apple. You're doing so well. For you. Match. Well done. That's the same. Good job. For you. Match. Yes, that's the same. You're doing so well. For you. Give me apple. That's the apple. Well done. For you. Give me banana. Amazing. This is the banana. Look. You're finished. This is for you. Turn on. Wow.
And let's talk about the frequency and consideration. So how much and when do we reinforce? How often, how much is something that we need to think about all the time. Definitely when we're teaching new tasks or difficult tasks, the frequency can be at a higher level, meaning I'm maybe reinforcing every single trial when it's something new. I'm sure we've all struggled with difficult tasks before in our lifetime. And imagine if all you experience when you're doing these new things is hardship and you're constantly failing. You're going to lose motivation very quickly. So when learning these new things, you're likely, if you're receiving reinforcement early on, you're likely to maintain motivation to the point until you attain those skills. So definitely when we're teaching a new skill or difficult task, we may use a more frequent level of reinforcement. Um, we also need to use it for correcting inappropriate behaviors. Um, Behaviors occur for a reason, and often it's due to its reinforcement value. To increase motivation, high value reinforcement should be introduced. I'm sure we all have bad habits. We all have bad habits, and there's a reason for them because in some ways they're enjoyable, they're reinforcing, and therefore, when we're engaging these inappropriate behaviors, and there's a certain level of reinforcement in it, but to eradicate these behaviors, we have to think about, okay, I need to stop this behavior that felt good. Then, if that's the case, I need to find something that's higher reinforcement value to help me replace that skill or help me motivate to change that behavior. And lastly, we need to think about reducing the rate of generalization for generalization purpose. Um, Although reinforcement is important for teaching, its high frequency is unnatural. Therefore, reducing the frequency is necessary. But then since the frequency is reduced, the value must increase to counterbalance. You can't just, make it, reduce the frequency. I'm not going to reinforce you that much, but I'm going to give you the same reinforcement. That doesn't quite work. So if I'm going to work harder for a longer duration of time without reinforcement, the payoff should be much bigger. Here's a very good example with using a graph for it. If we're looking at per trial reinforcement, we may be given tangibles to the student. We may be given tokens. So that way the student knows every single trial what they did right and wrong. But we may have to move away from that because in the real world, in school, teachers don't, they don't acknowledge you for doing things like that. If the teacher said, hey, everyone open the Chinese book to page 27, the teacher is not going to give you a toy or give you a high five for doing it right. So we need to help our kids catch up to that kind of level of generalization. So we go from per trial reinforcement, every single trial to get a token tangible, to maybe we're now earning stars. Okay, we're going to earn a star for every 15 minutes, and every single 15 minutes you earn a star for, let's say, keeping your hands to yourself. At the end of the session, if you have 5 stars, we will report it back to mom. Mom will take you to McDonald's, or you get extra computer time at home. So now we went from per trial to per session. And next, to elongate this even further, to make it even more natural, every single day, if you've managed to be very independent and completed your routines on your own, you get a check on your calendar. Upon getting 5 consecutive checks on your calendar, at the weekend, daddy, mommy will take you to Ocean Park or Toys R Us. Now, we've taken very frequent level of reinforcement and we've increased it upon time, but we've also increased it in value as well. So that's what we would need to do as far as thinking about scheduling of reinforcement or the values of reinforcement.